Hi, my friends. In this episode, I'm going to give you some ideas. How do you collect material for your public speaking? In the last episode, I was mentioning to you about the need for preparation. Preparation before the event. Preparation during the event. Preparation while giving the speech, for which your content is very, very, very important. I mentioned to you even the last episode, no matter how humorous you speak, no matter how rich your voice, the content is very, very important. So, how do you collect the content? As I said, in order to be a public speaker, you have to invest your time on a daily basis. So make a note of this. First of all, books, magazines and periodicals. I'm going to ask you a simple question and you are going to answer it frankly on a piece of paper. The question is this: how many hours you spend on an average per day in reading? How much time you spend in reading? Anything that you read. So, for example, from morning till evening, on an average, how many hours you spend? You write that number. You just write that number. You are not going to show it to anybody. Just write that number. You would have written 1 hour or 30 minutes or 2 hours or 3 hours, whatever. From that, you should remove things which are interesting but not useful. Things which are not relevant. If you take it out, what remains? That is relevant reading. On an average, about 2 hours, 3 hours. In another episode in my time management program, I have given some statistics on how much time great people spend in reading, like Bill Gates and people like that. So books, magazines, periodicals. You choose the area in which you want to be a public speaker. You should have the habit of going through book reviews. Talk to people with similar interests. These days, a lot of audiobooks are available. Now, a lot of e-books are available for free. That will give you enormous amount of facts. Once you have the facts, you can use it the way you want. I saw a beautiful quotation of Mark Twain. He says, "Get your facts first, then you can distort them as you please." You can distort them as you please. That is, how do you use that fact to support your case? So books, magazines, periodicals. The second one is newspapers. Minimum 2 newspapers you should read. One commercial, one daily newspaper. And while reading newspaper, mark it. If necessary, take a photo of the page, or you can cut it and maybe you can file it. You may refer it, you may require it sometime later. It all depends upon whether you trust the digital media or paper media. Search engines. In the next episode, I'm going to give you a more detailed explanation of how to use search engines. These days, any information available just at a click. You can do a lot of research. So, search engines gives you a lot of opening to know the facts. Internet documents, government websites. Internet documents, government websites. Now everything is transparent these days. Any information is available. Supposing if you want to speak about let's say, how much budget is available for education sector, it's available. How much is the funding from the state government, from the central government? What is the outlay for infrastructure development? What is the budget allocation for new projects, R&D? If you're going to speak on corona and scientific intervention to deal with corona, facts are available, transparent. Your ability to quote authentic information is very, very, very important. Research papers are available. For example, I do a program called Deliberate Practice, where I talk about the research of Dr. Anders Ericsson of Texas University. He talks about how consistent practice for 10,000 hours in a period of 10 years and how that makes a world-class genius. I read the entire research paper. For example, if I have to address a group of audience on growth mindset and fixed mindset, there's a whole lot of research articles available on growth mindset. If you have to talk about the virus, vaccines, lot of research papers are available. So spend enough time, collect these papers, make notes, store it someplace. You don't know when you will be called for a public debate. These days, you are invited to join a news debate, news at 9 o'clock. They talk about it. Some maybe, let us say, there is a debate on the national education policy. I'm an educationist. I get the invitation. Right? I start from how in 1986 onwards we have been talking about the national education policy. The various research papers related to that. That's a very important thing. You won't be able to all of a sudden prepare half an hour before the TV show. Encyclopedia and reference books. You should have the habit of purchasing books. Long ago, nearly 40 years ago, when I attended a self-development program by one of those days best consultants from Mumbai, Dr. Atreya, he gave me one advice: every month you purchase a book with your own money. Even today I do that. So collection of books, collection of encyclopedia books. But now of course digital encyclopedia is available, that's good enough. Yearbooks are very, very important. Yearbooks. For example, if you want to know what all happened last year in the year 2020, January to December, yearbooks are available. Every year they compile. They talk about various events. For example, COVID-19, it started in 2019. By now, the yearbook should be available. The various events that took place all over the world, elections for example, wars, politics, scientific discoveries, yearbook is very, very important. Maybe you have to quote certain facts and figures in one of your speeches, yearbook. Always keep your ears and eyes open. Note down the facts every day. Every day at 9 o'clock, there is a debate taking place in the news channels. Listen to them. You should know currently what is happening. In politics, in political science, in the legal area, in the medical field, what's happening? A lot of debates are taking place. For example, now a lot of debate took place on how trustworthy are the electronic voting machines. Those speakers give some statistics. If you have to speak on politics, the growth of various political parties, statewide statistics, the results came out last week from 5 states. The history of the elections in these 5 states, listen to those debates and watch how the debaters are confronting the other co-debaters with their facts and figures. How they are countering the arguments. So these are the ways you have to collect content for your speech. Again, I'm telling you, it's not the way you deliver. What you deliver is also very, very important. Preparation is very, very important. I recall a quotation of Benjamin Franklin. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. The only difference in my years of experience of developing public speakers, the difference between a good speaker and a not so good speaker is the amount of effort the person is taking, the keenness with which he is getting ready every day, like sharpening the saw. Don't say, I have no time. You have to sharpen the saw. I end this episode with a small little story I heard long ago. A woodcutter was chopping wood with his own chisel. So he was chopping. In the first 1 hour, he chopped about, let us say, 100 wood. In the second 1 hour, it was 90. The third 1 hour, it was coming down 80. A bystander noticed that output was coming down, and he noticed the chisel was getting blunt because of constant use. So he stopped that woodcutter and said, why don't you sharpen the saw, sharpen the chisel? For which the woodcutter said, sir, where is the time, sir? I have to cut this wood. By spending just 10 minutes by sharpening the saw, sharpening the chisel, he'll be able to cut more. Similarly, everyday preparation is very, very important. You will start liking it. All the best. See you in the next episode. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe and post your comments in the comment box. I will try to reply to them. All the best.